Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is May 9th, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 87 of me answering your immigration related questions. Before I begin, as always, I'm going to mention I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS right here, of course, and the Department of State with their Visa Bulletin. So let's start with the very first comment from Patricia P. Patricia, thank you very much for another comment. Hi there, hope you're well. Thank you. Thanks for answering my question on the affidavit of support. You said that if I have to add other sponsors, which I would have to do, I can do it on the same application in the NVC portal. But I also have to get a request to do so. Yes. How do I go about getting the request? Thanks again. So Patricia, actually the video where Clinton commented, you can see it right here, documentarily qualified. If you haven't seen that video, and that really goes for everyone who has I-130 petition who is not documentarily qualified yet, make sure to check it out. The NVC portal, documentarily qualified, what does that mean? That's the video that I uploaded a few days ago. In that video, you will see when you're looking at the NVC portal, you will see at the very top, you have the applications, you have your DS 260 immigrant visa application. And then in the middle of the page, you will see where the affidavit of support section is. Right now, you only have, if you are a petitioner, you only have yourself, all right? And right above your name, you will see there is a button that says add joint sponsor or just joint sponsor. I think it says add joint sponsor. So click on that. Once you click on that, you will be able to fill out not everything for a joint sponsor, but just the name, a few other details, and then submit it as a request to the NVC to allow you to add the whole joint sponsor. And they review it, usually they review it pretty quickly. In most cases, they review it within a couple of days. Once they review it, you will see once you log in back to the NVC portal and the request to add the joint sponsor was approved, you will see under your name, there will be an added joint sponsor, their name. You click on that name, it will take you to the whole affidavit of support that you need to fill out, all the documents that you need to upload, then you will be able to do that. But yes, it is done through the NVC portal, and in this video you can actually see how it looks where you add the joint sponsor. So let me put this, and we're gonna move on to the next question from Clinton Byfield, or Bfield, sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. I some 60 days notice waiting for appointment, but now I don't get it anymore. Need to know why. G morning. So I'm assuming, since you commented on the documentarily qualified video, I'm assuming that you're referring to the appointment for an interview. So please let me know if you can. I'm gonna ask you for a follow-up comment. Was your initial interview appointment rescheduled? Because I have seen quite a number of immigrant visa interviews rescheduled. In the past months, I've been getting quite a lot of questions about it, that the interview visas were rescheduled. And I'm honestly not sure why it's happening. It might be because of the situation in the country, U.S. Embassy. It might be that there can be a lot of things that are happening. Like, for example, you know, the situation with Sudan, they had with the U.S. Embassy over there, they had to basically stop processing and move. The situation that is happening in Russia, a lot of people from Russia are getting their interviews rescheduled that were scheduled in Poland because they're not able to get there on time. There can be a lot of different circumstances, but at the end of the day, when it comes to appointment, it is the U.S. Embassy in that particular country that is handling the scheduling for those appointments. So if you do have any particular questions regarding the appointment itself, then your best bet, you can reach out to the NVC with a public inquiry, and you can reach out to the U.S. Embassy directly just by calling them and asking them. Obviously be polite, professional, like I always mention, just in case. It's at their discretion if they want to provide you with any information or not, but it's worth a shot, because if you do get the update, you know, it's good to know. So please let me know a little bit more details, and I'll see if I can address your question a little bit with a little bit more details. All right, let's move on to the next one from King. I have filed EAD twice both times denied. Wow, both times 150 days has not elapsed. What should I do? I received a denial notice for an EAD I filed 1 month ago. It says I didn't file after the 150-day rule. Wow. Should I file again or appeal? This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Honestly, I don't even know why they have 150 days. They shouldn't. What's the point of waiting 150 days? If you're claiming asylum, if it is approved, then you're on your way to become a permanent resident. All this time you had to work, and you have to work legally, and you have to pay taxes, and there's nothing wrong with it. And if it is denied, then fine. They can take away the employment authorization document. They can send a person back, whatever. It's up to them. But while you're in a pending asylum, there's nothing wrong with working legally in the United States of America. I don't know what the point of 150 days rule is. But King, for you, I have a few things that I can recommend. First of all, if your case has been transferred to the immigration court, then they do have a special phone number for the immigration call. And let me look it up. I have it saved, and I'm going to give it to you. And everyone who has a pending asylum, and they're basically when it's in the court, right? Whenever your asylum application has been denied and then it was transferred to the court. A lot of times they don't do it this time. Now with this whole new asylum processing, basically they either deny and there is no way to appeal and go to the court. But looks like some of the people, they still do allow to go to the court. So if it's your situation, then here is the number. If you have pending asylum application, or your asylum application was denied and is now reviewed by the immigration court, then they have actually the internal system where you can call in and you can find out exactly what the EAD clock is. So it's worth a shot. You have your alien registration number. It's worth a shot calling and seeing if you can get your exact EAD clock information from the immigration court. So the number is 800-898 7180, and once again it is 800-898-7180. And when you call there, basically you'll get a prompt that you reached the immigration court, the EOIR, and it will ask you for your alien registration number, which is the A number that you have. You definitely have that because you applied for asylum. You enter the alien registration number, and then you will have a few different options on what information to get. Again, it might not work for you specifically, King, because you might not have your information with immigration court. But again, it is worth a shot. Another thing, I might have already answered a similar question to somebody, but another thing that you can do is you can always reach out directly to the asylum office that is processing your application. It is not the service center. It is not, they're smaller offices. I know in Florida, here in Florida, we had one. I don't know if we still do, but there was one asylum office in Miami. And it's not a big one, and they specifically are, working with asylum. You used to be able to schedule an appointment there and go there and just, from across a window, ask a person, say, hey, I want to get an update on my asylum. You might not get much answers, but whenever it comes to EAD clock, most likely they will tell you, oh, you're still at 130 days, or you're still at 100 whatever days, right? And then the final recommendation that I'll give you in this answer is that if none of that works, if you're still not able to get the information on how long your clock actually is right now, why is that they're not giving you the employment authorization? Another thing is to reach out to your local elected officials. I'm talking about state representatives, state senators. State senators, they do have a lot of different senators, their offices. They do have, if you go on their website, for example, let's say King, for example, you live in North Carolina, right? Go to, do a research. Who is the senator, right? Who is the state representatives? Go to their websites and you will see there's like public relations, whatever, and you will see that they do help people. Or at least they attempt to help people because it's good for their political career. They want it. And you will see that some of the things that they assist with are other government agencies that people are having problems with. One of them being immigration, USCIS. So you can definitely reach out to the senator's office, submit it to a few different ones, and then see if somebody's willing to help you find that information out, because I have seen a lot of the things, a lot of the issues resolved because of that. If you want to learn more about it, I actually have a video on this channel. It's called How to File a Complaint Against USCIS, or How to Resolve a Problem with USCIS Case, something along those lines. But it is on this channel, and there I go in depth on basically finding all these different avenues, because this seems to be like what you will have to do. Unfortunately, King, it's sad because they do it to, you know, people who are so early on their starting point in the immigration process. And it's almost like, what are you gonna do? You're here in the United States, obviously, because you're claiming asylum. You cannot go back because you're claiming asylum. You're being persecuted in another country. You might lose your life if you go back. It's serious. So you're here, and now you're stuck here without any income because you cannot legally work. So what do? For 150 days? For 6 months without income? You ran away from another country, came here, and you're stuck here without income? Or not even without income, without any possibility to work. I don't get it. Whoever came up with it, with this idea of 150 days, has no understanding of the process, of who these people are. There is no representation of, yeah, these people are running from persecution. So chances are they're not coming to this country with millions of dollars. In fact, most of the times they're coming to this country with nothing, because they had to leave everything behind. Why? Because they're persecuted. I hope that one day maybe somebody who is a policymaker would watch one of my videos and actually think about it, you know, and be like, yeah, that makes sense. Or no, our policies, they make no sense. But King, I hope you're able to resolve this. Let us know, okay? If you can, please come back to this channel and keep everyone updated on your progress, because, you know, it's for me. I would like to know myself, and I'm sure people who are watching these videos, they would like to know how to resolve problems like this. And if you do resolve it, everybody would like to know that. All right, let's move on to the next one from Adam Barry, or Barry. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Hi, sir. My question is, my wife applied for me. She's a green card holder, I think in May 2018. Okay. And was approved 8th December 2020. Good. And was documentarily qualified 17 October 2022. How I can know that my Visa Bulletin date? Senegal, Dakar Embassy. Thanks. Adam, thank you for your question. So looks like your case is moving along really, really well. It was approved, I would say, between the your submission of the I-130 and the approval, perfect timing. And then after the approval to documentarily qualified, pretty good timing. And I think everything's going to be moving. Looks like everything is moving further. So you're in F2A category. So we're going to go to the Visa Bulletin. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to read the Visa Bulletin. This is the most recent one so far for May 2023. So since you are already documentarily qualified, we don't have to look at the graph B, which is for people that have been approved by USCIS and are waiting for NDC portal to open up fully for them. So we're going to be looking at the graph A, which is the availability of the immigrant visas for those who have already been documentarily qualified. And if we look at the F2A, which was recently updated, we know that it is showing right now that the visas are becoming available for people with date September 20. So let's take a look at your situation. You were approved on December 20 and documentarily qualified 13 October 2022. So looks like October 22 and yours is May 2018. Let me double check something here. Yeah, this is going to be showing current. So I would say you should be getting your interview scheduled literally. So people who have been documentarily qualified, they are waiting since September 2020 for their interview. So it's about 2.5 years, 2.5 years roughly. Yeah, a little bit less than that, like 2 years and like 3 months. So roughly 2 years, and you were approved October 2022, and we are in October, not in October, we are in May 2023. So I would say you're looking at roughly another year, maybe year and a half at most, for that interview to be scheduled. But since you are already documentarily qualified, you might want to consider reaching out to NVC. Just submit the public inquiry form just for an update, just to give them a nudge and say, hey guys, my application has been already documentarily qualified. I wanted to follow up, see what's going on, because according to the Visa Bulletin, looks like I should be looking at my interview sometime pretty soon. Another thing that you can do, you can always reach out to the embassy in Dakar. It's at their discretion whether they want to provide you any information or not, but it's worth a shot, because sometimes you get nice people over the phone and they, for them it's nothing. Open up their scheduling and see where, because they can tell you, oh, if you have been, we got your petition back in October 2022, and we are scheduling right now appointments for people whose petition we got back in January 2022. So you will have a rough estimate of how long you need to wait till your interview is scheduled. It's worth a shot. But thank you for your question. Let me put this, make sure that I addressed it, and we're going to move on to the next one from Visitation Agustin. Thank you for another question. Appreciate it. Hello, sir. Is a petition without email address a reason of delay or denial of the petition? No, sir. So it's not a reason for a denial. I at least in my experience, I have not seen, or with any of the petitions that I dealt with, I have never seen the petition denied because there was no email. All right, but delay possibly. Why? Because again, especially whenever it comes to the NVC, while your petition is with USCIS, your I-130 petition, there isn't really much of emails that you will be getting from USCIS. With NVC, however, they're very, very big on sending the emails. All of the stuff is done through the emails. They'll send you all updates. They send you all the required stuff, what is missing. Let's say, I was answering earlier in this video to Patricia about requesting to add a joint sponsor. You send a request to add a joint sponsor. Once your request is approved, NVC immediately sends you the email. Now, if you don't have an email on file, you will be waiting for a letter to say that your request to add the joint sponsor is approved. And that obviously takes much longer for you to find out that your request was approved. So it is basically we ourselves as petitioners, as immigrants, we ourselves create that delay for ourselves, for our case, if we do not provide email. So I definitely, if you have not added your email yet, with USCIS, once you have the access to the NVC, I would definitely recommend updating it with the email address, just because you don't want to miss those updates. You want to, you might not miss them because they will send you by mail if they don't have your email, but you want to get them as soon as they come out. You don't want to sit and wait for that mail, unless you want to check the NVC portal every day, which is fine. But I would still want to have the email on file. All right, moving further to Fun World Zone. Hello, I had applied for B2 extension on November 2022. Okay, it's been 6 months now. I haven't received an answer from USCIS. Am I still legal or out of status now? Should I reapply for extension to save from becoming out of status? Please answer. Okay, wow. All right, so it depends on your duration of status. So duration of status most of the times is given for 6 months, especially when it comes to B2, all right? So chances are November 2022, we are now in May 2023, so let's see, November itself, December, January, February, March, April, May. So yeah, you are like pushing like 6 to 7 months. So I'm thinking you might already be outside of that duration of stay. So here are two options, right? Double check, and you can find that out on the CBP website. I do have the video on this channel that describes on how to pull up that I-94, the travel history. Check it out, because if you're still within those 6 months, if you're duration of stay has not expired, I would recommend not waiting for that extension to be approved and not risk going outside of the duration of stay. If it's not an emergency, if you can go out of the country and then come back with a new duration of stay, it is much better than taking a risk. However, if you are already past those 6 months, then definitely do not leave the country, because if you do leave the country, if you have I-539 petition pending, if you leave the country with a pending petition, the petition is considered abandoned. So it doesn't matter if after you left the country it's approved or something. That's it. You will be considered like you overstayed your duration of stay, and of course that is a problem. So you definitely, if you already overstayed your duration of stay, you definitely want to wait for that I-539 petition results, and hopefully it will be approved, because if it's not approved, then we have a problem a little bit. But I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to demonstrate some navigation on USCIS website. We're gonna go to tools, because I want to check. We're gonna go to case status online. I want to check and you can check here you can put your receipt number. You can see I'm sure you are aware of this page where you can check the status of your case. But we're gonna scroll down to USCIS processing times. And I want to check the processing times for I-589 petition. Let's see, I-539, sorry, not 89. 89 is the asylum. All right, extension of stay for B, there we go. So, depending on where you are, let's try California. 11.5 months, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Again, people who are behind this, they are not thinking straight, because with a B status, you are getting 6 months most of the time. In 99% of the cases, well, maybe not 99, 90% of the cases, you are getting 6 months duration of stay. Sometimes they put 3 months, sometimes they put 1 month. I've seen cases where they put 2 weeks. Yeah, they do that too sometimes. But 6 months, let's say you got 6 months. If you're applying for an extension, even if you apply the day you come into the country, it means you will still be outside of the status and waiting. Ridiculous. Let's check Nebraska. Wow, it gets worse. Now it's more than 2 years. Okay, Potomac. 23 months. Takes forever. Texas. 31 months. Wow, why only get worse? Vermont. 10 months. 10.5 months. So Vermont seems to be the best. So, a few things that you can do. First of all, check, whichever service center your application is being processed as. Now you know roughly how long it takes, and now you know how long you need to wait. In the meantime, yes, if anything comes up, I would recommend with you, because you don't have any immigration petition, I would recommend carrying that notice of receipt that you got from USCIS when you submitted the I-539. Carry it with you at all times. If you need to do something, I don't know, maybe you need to get a driver's license for whatever reason or something, or whatever it is. But carry that notice of receipt just in case, if ever whatever kind of question comes up, what status are you in the country? You can say, I came in on a visitor visa, but I have applied for an extension. Here is the receipt that I applied for the extension, and it is still pending. I'm still waiting for it. And hopefully there's no problems. Hopefully it is approved and it is extended. But yeah, I would check as soon as possible whether you are still within those 6 months or outside of the 6 months. If you're within the 6 months, either going out of the country and coming back, less risk, but much more risk if you stay and wait. But if you already passed the 6 months, then you don't really have an option, and I would say just wait for the petition to be reviewed and hopefully approved. Hopefully there are no problems. All right, let's move on to the next question coming from Andrew. Andrew, thank you very much for another comment. Appreciate it. Hi, I owe you a hug and a coffee or something if we should ever meet in person. Appreciate it, Andrew. Appreciate it. Your videos are incredibly helpful. I'm wondering how I would get transcripts of my tax returns if I file my taxes with the aid of TurboTax. I also live in Virginia, if that helps. Yeah, so I also do actually TurboTax. I like it. It's fantastic. I recommend everyone, if you guys, especially immigrants, immigrants that come into the country, it's really hard. The whole like filing taxes, it was very new, especially to an immigrant who was just starting up here, right? So I came and I didn't know, so I was paying someone to do the taxes for me, and literally every time I did it, every year I had some kind of problems. I had really bad problems. At one point I had the audit, and at one point I got a notice from IRS that I owe them like $3,000 because the person who filed taxes for me, they made a mistake. Ever since I started filing my own taxes through TurboTax, because it makes it much easier, all the problems were resolved. I have not had a single problem, and it's better for me too. I know exactly what I put in there. I know it, that's it. So taxes are kind of like immigration field. If you let somebody else handle it for you, expect problems. If you do it, if you put effort into it and learning and understanding how it works, you're not gonna have any problems. Okay, so now, sorry Andrew, I got off on the thing, but to get the transcript, you'll have to go to irs.gov, and let me see if I can find it where it is. Okay, so get your tax records. I'm pretty sure it's got to be here, right here. Get your tax records. Let's see, tax records online. We don't need just the tax records. We need... Okay, there we go. Get transcripts online. So here it is on irs.gov, and that's it. You'll probably... Yes, so you would have to create an online account with IRS, and online everything, you can just download those PDF tax transcripts for whatever year you need, and just keep those PDF files. Once it's time for the interview, print them out, and that's really it. So yep, on irs.gov. Let me post this, and we're gonna move on to the next question or comment from Workers' Compensation. Heard at work, we can help. Your channel is pure gold. Thank you for sharing this valuable information. Thank you for your kind comment. I'm glad this was helpful. Let's move on to the next one from Jay Modi. Jay, thank you for another question. Appreciate it. Hello, hope you are doing well. I think so. You remember my question? Yes, I do. Regarding to 25/4/23, submitted all documents to NVC. Today, NVC sent me a mail that my wife needs to submit year 2021 W-2 1099 form. And also they accepted all documents which we submitted on 25/4/23. Can you please explain me that means my case is documentarily qualified or not? Not, Jay, it's not documentarily qualified, but since they have accepted everything that you have submitted, that's really great news. All right, so everything is going well. The only thing looks like that they're missing as of right now is that 2021. It's either W-2 or 1099. I don't know, obviously, your wife, whether she works like a full-time employee. In that case, it's going to be W-2. If she's self-employed, if she's doing like some kind of private contracting, then of course it's going to be 1099. So what it means basically is that the tax returns that you have uploaded to the NVC portal, there is some kind of income that is shown on the tax returns, and the basically evidence of that income, which is 1099 or W-2, is missing. That has not been uploaded. So you can definitely, it's not that hard to find the W-2 or 1099. Again, if she's full-time, employed or part-time employee working for somebody, then she has the W-2. If she doesn't have on hand, she can always request it from her employer. And if it's 1099, then she definitely has it. So just upload it, and looks like that's the only thing they're missing. Once you upload that, once it is reviewed, once they say, okay, now we have everything, then you will be documentarily qualified. But looks like right now you are very well, I would say, on the way to becoming documentarily qualified. All right, let's move on to probably the last question for today from Vishnavi 70. I am here with B1, B2 visa. It's been 5 months. Can I file I-539 form 2 times? One for extension, and later can I apply for change for status for F1? Yes, absolutely. You can definitely do that. That's what the form is for. And in fact, I do know people who did that. They did extend it multiple times, and then they ended up changing it for student, actually, for student, because they got enrolled in the university. That's completely normal. The only thing with the extension of B1, B2 is just like with the issue that I was responding to, World of, I don't remember what was the name of the profile, Fun World Zone. You're gonna run into this issue where your duration of stay is expired, and you're still waiting for the results of your I-539 extension. And it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary, and it's a little bit risky. Why? Because, well, you don't have a status. You're outside of the status, and you don't know whether it's going to be approved or not. And if it is not approved, obviously, you see how it's not a very good situation. So most of the times these petitions are approved. It's very rare that they are denied. Most of the times they are denied because there is some issue involved, something serious that is involved. Unless there is some kind of really bad mistake in the application, or maybe some kind of something that came up. Most of the times they are approved. So hopefully, for you it's going to be fine. But if you don't want to deal with that risk, which is how I always recommend, I always recommend people, if you can do the less risky way, do it the less risky way. And since you still are legally in the country, you're still within that duration of stay of 6 months, you have an option, if it is an option, to go back outside of the United States and then come back later with a whole new duration of stay, now another 6 months, and then in that period of time, maybe you will become enrolled in a school, and then you will just submit one application to change from B to F. That's an option. But again, if it's really up to you how much of the risk tolerance. Really, at the end of the day, we're talking about the risk tolerance. So thank you everyone for asking your questions. I hope my answers were helpful. If you have any follow-up questions, do not hesitate to ask them. Just make sure do not respond to my comment within your comment, but submit a separate comment, because YouTube does not send me the notifications when you respond to my comment within your comment. As always, I appreciate your time. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.